Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. It's been a week. It's hard to think about. Last week I was flying down to Los Angeles. I was going to Summerslam. I met Stone Cold Steve Austin. That feels like a month ago. But somehow, when I remember about my WrestleMania trip for WrestleMania 30 going to New Orleans, that feels like maybe a month ago. And somebody put it in my comments of my video saying I must be very lucky that with only a few, matter of months, I was able to go to not only WrestleMania, I was able to go to SummerSlam, and then I was also able to go to that house show in Stockton just the other day. I honestly am very lucky, and I appreciate every one of you guys out there. This wasn't the best trip that I've ever been on, seeing how it was only a day trip, and I think there's been SummerSlam trips where I've had a lot more fun, even back in SummerSlam 2011, where I think I only went for the day that day as well. But there definitely are moments that I'm going to take from this trip that I will remember forever. So I thank those people that were with me. This year it was Mario and Victor. We all met up at actually I picked up Mario on the way so we could split the parking. Cheap man myself. And we went to the airport, and that day when I picked up Mario, he kept on he had a lot of faith in this trip. He kept on saying that this is going to be the best SummerSlam trip that we've ever been on. I don't know if it was the card that had him intrigued, or if it was just he was pumped up to see Brock Lesnar, or he was really hoping to meet Stone Cold Steve Austin that day. He didn't have a ticket. I don't even think he didn't get to meet Stone Cold. I think he was hoping to buy a ticket either through the StubHub office down there, or just somebody walking around who had bought an extra ticket and wasn't able to go, or wasn't able to do something. He did buy a ticket. Him and Victor both went, and they bought a ticket. Victor almost didn't get to make the trip. The airport security that day was horrible. It wasn't horrible as in like they were mean to us. It was backed up. Mario and me got to the airport about 2 hours early. We parked the car in long-term parking out there, and then we rode the bus in, and Miguel makes fun of me all the time, honestly. When we're on these trips and I'm into it, I'm doing 1,000 different things at once. We sat down on the bus that takes you from the long-term parking and drops you off at the terminal. One thing led to another. I don't think if I was like taking a picture, dropping a tweet, if I was just moving around in my seat, getting ready for what was about to go down. One thing or another, I got off the bus and I left my phone on the bus. Horrible. Horrible. We went upstairs at the airport to check in and print our boarding pass, and I had all my information on my phone. I'm very lucky that I had all my information on my phone, because if I wouldn't have known, I probably never would have got my phone back. I immediately went back down. I waited for the bus to come around. Took about 25 minutes for the bus to come around. And once it did, I was able to get my phone. I was able to get back up in there. And then when we got to security, I apologize. It was just really backed up. And we got to our gate, and we sat there and waited, and we kept on getting a little bit scared about Victor. And he finally tweeted about how bad security was, so at least we knew he was in the building. Once he was able to get through the security, we didn't even see him until we were already on the plane, and he came on. And we were just glad that he was there. We flew down to LA. Once we got out, we had plans to ride the train, and that drops you off a few blocks away from the Staples Center and walk in, and that was $5. But we didn't have time for that, because I think our flight landed at 10:30. The Stone Cold Steve Austin show started at noon, so we got a cab. The cab driver told us that shuttle is cheap, but it doesn't run all that often, and more than likely, once we got onto the shuttle, it would have taken us about 2 hours with all the stops to get there, and that ain't fun. Not fun at all. So that is an option if you're ever going to the Staples Center to do that. But we cab cost us like $60 with tip to get to the Staples Center. If you're ever thinking about going from LAX to there, that's how much it costs. And he said we were lucky, because if we would have came any other day other than Sunday, we probably would have been hit with a whole bunch of traffic, and that only makes the fare go up more, because even though your cab's not moving, the fare goes up. So, man, it sucks to be them. But no complaints about the cab ride. The cab ride there was awesome. Dumped us off. I immediately went and I met Miguel, who was waiting where access was. I thought one of the reasons why WWE didn't do Access is because the cost of blocking the street off and setting the booths up and everything like that. Once I noticed that the street in front of the Staples Center never is open and is always blocked off, I immediately was like, son of a bitch. When I met Alicia Fox this week before the Stockton show, that was the first thing I told her, because she was saying that SummerSlam was a lot of fun. She always loves being in LA, and I just said it wasn't the same. I mean, we got to go in and meet Stone Cold. I made a video about that show. That show was fun. I was really into watching Stone Cold Steve Austin talk for 2 hours, and the ability to meet him and get that autographed poster. That was a ton of fun. So after the Stone Cold Steve Austin show, we walked back with the Lorenzos. We went to their hotel. They stayed at the I think it was the Marriott. It might have been the Hilton. The really fucking fancy hotel. It happened to be the same hotel that Ric Flair, Triple H, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, all of them were staying at that. I believe the wrestlers stayed at a different hotel. But it's the one that's like right next to where the Nokia Live Center is, right across the street from the Staples Center. It looked all glass, looked really nice. You can see it in the videos. But we went back to their room. They said it would be easier for us to drop our stuff off there. And from there, we went into Smashburger, where we had the YWC cookout. It's my first time at Smashburger. I want to say that the burger was great, really nice, fluffy buns, a little pricey. I wouldn't definitely, if I was by myself with a group of people going there, it wouldn't be that bad, but to take me, my wife, and my kids and pay $13 a plate, it's a little bit much for me, and no matter how good that burger is, it's just overpriced. I can make a burger at my house for $13. I can feed all four of us, and be pretty good. So Smashburger more than likely is not in my foreseeable future again, but it was very accessible to where the Staples Center was. Went in line. It took us about an hour to get into the center. Once we met up with the Lorenzo brothers, we also met up with some friends that they had made that week. You can either call him Murph, you can either call him Griff, but he was an awesome dude. My first time meeting from him, he came down from Toronto. Him and his buddy, who I never caught his name, and I just 100% apologize. I heard him referred to as the Punjabi Playboy, which that made him strut across the hotel room, but they were awesome people to hang out with. We waited in line. Staples Center, one of the worst places in the world to get into. Once we finally got in, we had awesome seats. We were talking to the security guard all night long. She was asking this and that about wrestling. Miguel brought up the fact that I made YouTube videos, which she wanted to talk about her floral YouTube videos that she made, and this, that, or the other. SummerSlam Access Babe will always have a place in my heart. Well, not Access, SummerSlam, I don't know what to call her, but SummerSlam Usher Babe, she will always be known as. She was really nice. But the show was awesome. The show was really fun. No complaints about that. I think that the crowd turned on Roman Reigns. The Jericho versus Bray Wyatt match put Miguel to sleep. I have a review up of the SummerSlam show if you really wanted to know thoughts about that. After the show, we went back to the Lorenzo brothers' room, and we just chilled for honestly what felt like forever. And it was fun to catch up with them. That was my first time. I'd hung out with Alex before, but never hung out with Matt, and they're really class act dudes. We really talked them into trying to get them to come out to WrestleMania, even if it was for a shorter amount of time, telling them that was the trip to come on. They're probably still in LA now. I don't even know when they left to come back. But I really would love to hang out with Alex and Matt anytime I got a chance. Murph and Griff, you guys can come on down as well. You guys were a ton of fun to hang out with. But WrestleMania, Santa Clara, that definitely is the trip that I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about. From there, we went over and we went to Hooters. It was me and Mario, me and Miguel said our goodbyes. We'll see each other sooner than later. And Mario and I, we ate at Hooters. Hooters cost me $25 for 10 boneless wings and a Coke. And we got to go to the No DQ cookout, or whatever they call it. We got to meet up. I saw Aaron outside. I actually ran into Noah, who lives in the same town I do. We've hooked up before. We see each other a lot when we go to the shows, and we text each other back and forth about random things. But I didn't even know he was going to be there, and that was a huge surprise. Met him and his girlfriend. I got to meet Jeff Meacham for the first time. And we just sat there. We got there as the ODQ thing was wrapping up, so we had a table for 4. We talked about moments, about shows we've been to and shows we want to go to. They booked a trip to, I think, the Buffalo Raw, right there in front of us. They made plans that they wanted to go to that. But after that, I think me and Mario, we all walked back. It was easier to catch a cab from the hotel that everybody was staying at, and then we rode from there to one of the most fiercest cab rides of all time. The guy had his seat all the way back and all the way reclined. He was basically sitting in my lap, using my legs as his seat, and he had all the windows down, rolled down on the freeway. Once we got to where LAX was, that was kind of a crazy madhouse, where the guy made a left-hand turn on a red, and as the guy honked at him, complained about the guy had a stop sign. Nobody had a stop sign. It was a red light that you turned against, and the guy was going on a green, and he had the right of way. But he got us there a moment faster. It would have cost us money to sit at that red light. So another, I think it cost us, somehow it cost us $50 to get back to the airport. And that was on the meter. It wasn't even a flat rate, so it was $10 cheaper. Once we got to the airport, we had to hang out in baggage claim. The airport didn't pick back up business until 4 o'clock for us to go upstairs. I actually fell asleep for a good 2 hours, maybe even 3, down there at the airport, laying where like the cubby where they would stick extra luggage. Once it came off the belt, I found that pretty nice. I just sort of laid down. I was surprised that I fell asleep. There was a moment when I woke up and I looked out at where we had sort of put our stuff to see where everything was, and noticed that one of the Summerslam chairs was missing. I thought somebody had actually stolen it, but it was actually Mario had taken his chair and moved down to where he actually was sitting in his seat and had his feet elevated up on his Summerslam chair, and that's what he was using to sleep on. But once we went upstairs, we chilled back, got on our flight. I took my flight, I got at my truck, drove Mario home, went to work, worked an 8-hour day, and went home. Always fun being a wrestling fan. I would do it 1,000 times over. They took SummerSlam from us. I don't know if they just didn't want to do SummerSlam and WrestleMania in the same place in the same calendar year, or maybe they just wanted to move SummerSlam. If there's not going to be an Access, honestly, I'm not really going to miss SummerSlam. I know Miguel already made plans. He's going to be heading out over there for next year. You guys enjoy it. I know that there's loyal LA fans that are probably going to fly over there. I'll sit at home and I'll watch them on the WWE Network, and I'll love every minute of it. PWG will be my SummerSlam next year. I don't know if I'm going to go to a normal show, if I'll go to a 2-day Bola event, if I'll go to the tag team DDT show, which I would really love to see because I love tag team wrestling, and WWE and TNA sure doesn't know how to fucking do it. Well, I guess they are doing it. If you watch the shows in the upcoming weeks, TNA is at least going to have the Hardys, the Wolves, and the Dudleys do some sort of a tournament deal to see who the best tag team there is in the world. But I don't even know what the payoff is going to be because Davey Richards just broke his leg, and Bully Ray, I guess, isn't even going to be in the company for when they do shows again. So they sort of set themselves up to fail there. But they'll figure something out, I'm sure. Maybe they'll just have Devon tag with Runt, Spike Dudley, or I don't know what they'll do. They'll figure something out. But that was my SummerSlam trip. Thank you, everybody, for checking out my video. SummerSlam definitely will always be a show that you should go to. It is, in my mind, it should be the 3rd biggest show of the year. I will always say that WrestleMania is number 1. Royal Rumble is always the most fun to me. But they always try to make it seem like SummerSlam is number 2. Royal Rumble will always be a must-buy show, must-watch. And we'll see what it is from here. Peace out, everybody. Thank you very much. I think my next trip for a wrestling show more than likely will be WrestleMania, unless something really weird comes up. And if it does, my wife will probably kill me. So peace out, everybody. Click 31.